Yippee-yay, there'll be no wedding bells.
Hi guys, and welcome to New Vegas Mod Clinic, part 14. Now, I have been missing in action from the Fallout New Vegas scene for quite some time, and so it seems quite fitting that the mod I'm going to talk about in this video is a mod that itself went missing in action for quite some time as well. And that mod is Fallout New Vegas Redesigned, or specifically Fallout New Vegas Redesigned 2. Now, this mod is a mod that attempts to make the faces in Fallout New Vegas better. But be under no illusion, this mod is not about making all the people in Fallout New Vegas more beautiful. It is not that kind of mod. It will not be giving you lots of fancy hairdos. It will not be making everyone gorgeous and a supermodel. It has very different aims in mind. Now, the author of this mod also did a similarly named mod for Fallout 3, although it was originally called Project Beauty. And both of these mods are more like fix mods than anything else. They basically fix the horrendous faces you find in Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas. But what do I actually mean when I say fix? Well, Bethesda games are semi-famous for being quite bad when it comes to faces. In fact, Skyrim is the first game they've created where the faces look quite realistic and pretty good. In Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 3, there are a lot of problems with the faces, and for people who remember further back, the same was true in Oblivion. Now, the sort of things that he is trying to fix are things like skin texture problems, where the lighting or the shading seems wrong. It's dark in one place, light in another, and it just looks really badly done. There are also proportion issues. Some of the characters have got way too big lips and noses, or too big eyes, and they're not always out of the realm of possibility, but they definitely would be fairly unusual. Except in Fallout New Vegas, they're not. There's loads of people like that. And in fact, some of the face proportions are so sort of bizarre that the people don't really look realistic at all. They look very fake. And it is quite distracting that, their eyes are way too wide or something else that just makes them look wrong. There are also cases where you'll meet NPCs and their voice doesn't quite match the face, and he's also tried to deal with that. So if a character's supposed to be crazy and ruthless, the face should look like that. And you could argue whether that's true or not, but I think it definitely is one of the things in Fallout New Vegas I notice, where the voices just didn't seem to match the faces. And so he's trying to fix that. Now, as I mentioned, this is not actually about making people beautiful, but some of the faces are actually a little bit more beautiful than the originals, but that's not a problem because they still feel realistic and right for the game. Now, the mod actually comes in two versions, the law and the recommended version. I'm just going to use the recommended version. That's the one he uses, so that's the one I'm going to stick to. So let's start installing this mod. You're going to need to download the file from the Fallout New Vegas Redesigned 2 page, but it does not have a download with manager button, so you're going to have to download it manually. So click and download. Now, once it's downloaded, you will have a RAR file, a RAR archive, and I saved mine to my desktop, just because it's easier to show you what I'm doing, but you obviously need to go to wherever you saved it. You might want to use your desktop. It's kind of a nice work area to play around with. But the first thing I'm going to do is extract this file here. Now, I can either use WinRAR, which I'm doing there, or if I go to 7-zip and hit extract here. This now creates a folder, Fallout New Vegas Redesigned. I'm going to move this here, and then I can actually delete this archive. So I now have a folder. Now the first thing I'm going to do is actually set up my own sort of work folder. And I'm going to call it Fallout New Vegas Redesigned. Pure and simple. It's a little different to this one. This one's got all the extra letters. And I'm going to open this. I'm going to move it over there. And I'm going to open this one. And oh dear. And move it over here. So this is the folder that I downloaded. Now, the main files you're going to need are in the Fallout New Vegas. Now you'll notice there's a directions. Please read carefully. It is worth opening this and reading it. It is worth opening that. I'm going to leave that open. But you're going to need all of the folders that are in data. So go into data and select meshes, textures. You're going to need New Vegas Redesigned Honest Hearts. You're going to need the Redesigned ESM. And then you need to decide whether you're going to have the law version or the recommended version of this. You don't need both of them. I'm going to click the recommended. If you're curious as to how I'm selecting these, I select the first one, I press Control and then click the others that I want, just in case you didn't know that. Most people probably know that, but sometimes people don't and they ask. So there you go. And I'm going to copy them into this folder. That is the basic mod. Now if I go back up to the folder, the top folder, I'm also going to use the voice dissonance project. Now these are the fixes that change the way faces look, because the original faces, they weren't bad, but they didn't match the voice. So if you want that, copy that and paste it into this folder. And then you're actually finished with that. So this is my working folder. I'm going to close it. I'm then going to left click and I'm going to use either 7-zip, add to archive, or WinRAR, add to archive. I could do it directly with WinRAR, so I'm going to do that. Add to Fallout New Vegas. Oh, what, did I spell that incorrectly? I did. I spelled that incorrectly. So it's spelling this file incorrectly as well. So I will just rename that to Fallout New Vegas Redesigned, and I now have my RAR file. I can actually delete this folder. I'm going to keep this one for now because it has my directions and it is worth keeping. Then you're going to open up Nexus Mod Manager, and under the Mods tab, go to Add Mod from File. Select the Fallout New Vegas Redesigned. It will take a few seconds and then you will have the mod installed. Well, the mod, you'll have the foam mod created. To install it, you have to then activate. Once it's finished, it's worth going along to the Plugins tab and checking. We have New Vegas Redesigned Honest Hearts, recommended, and the Dissidence fix, and up in the ESMs somewhere, New Vegas Redesigned 2. And that's it. The actual mod itself is installed. However, there are a couple of other things you should check. Now, the first thing you need to check is your archive invalidation. Now, I'm assuming most of you've got this figured out by now because you're probably running a lot of other mods that require it. But for some reason, some people have had trouble with the archive invalidation and this mod. I'm not totally sure why, because I just use the archive invalidation that goes along with Fallout Mod Manager. Now, if I go along to my data folder, my Vegas data folder, inside here there is a folder called falloutai.bsa, and if I deselect archive invalidation, if I remove it, it's gone. If I then enable it, because I want it enabled, I want that little tick, I want that little tick next to it. There it is. And for me, that works. I get archive invalidation without any problems with that. Now, you're almost done, but there is one more thing to do, and it is very important. You're going to have to open up 3 files. The first file is in the not in the data folder, in the game folder. That is where your Fallout New Vegas executable is. So you'll have falloutnv.exe. Now, normally this will be under your Steam Apps Common Fallout New Vegas. That's where it is for me. So I think the default is something like C drive program files /Steam Apps Common Fallout New Vegas. So you'll need that, and there will be a file called Fallout Default Ini. So edit that. You can either edit with Notepad++ or with Notepad if you don't have that. I'll open it with normal Notepad just to make sure everyone knows what I'm doing. You also need 2 other files. So they are, if you look at the directions, the Fallout Prefs Ini and the Fallout Ini. Now these 2 files can be found under My Documents. So if you go to Documents, My Games, Fallout NV, and there you'll find Fallout Ini and Fallout Prefs Ini. So open all of those. So I now have 3 files, and basically you're going to need a line in it that says bload facegen head EGT files equals 1. Now the first thing to do in each of these is find out if you already have such a entry. So go along to Edit, Find, and paste that in there. And as you can see, I have this in the Fallout Prefs.ini. If you have this line and it's set to 0, change it to 1. But if you don't have the entry, add the entire entry at the bottom of the general section. So as you can see here, mine's here. It should be in the general section. So place it there. Mine's above, just below the S language English. Save this and close it. Then open the Fallout Ini file, and again find this, and again, as you can see, mine's already set to 1. Make sure yours is, and if there is not one, add it again in the general section. Mine is just below S language equals English. Save it and close, and then the Fallout default, once more, exactly the same. So you need to add that. You need to make sure you have this entry in all 3 of those files. And that's it. It should now work just fine. And that's about it for this video. I think this mod is one that's definitely worth installing. It fixes a lot of the ugly faces or the problematic faces, and generally I find it helps the immersion of the game, because you don't keep stopping looking at someone's face and thinking, oh god, that's weird. So definitely would recommend you give this a try. Now I imagine one question a lot of people are going to be asking is, can we expect more Fallout New Vegas videos soon? And I'm not 100% sure. There are some mods I'd like to cover that don't require a playthrough, and I may try and get videos out for those. But a lot of the mods I'd like to cover would require me to actually do a playthrough. Now, I am finishing a Skyrim playthrough at the moment, but once that is over, I am actually planning to do a Fallout playthrough. But I'm not sure if it's going to be New Vegas or Fallout 3, and that will obviously affect the videos I make. So, I apologise if that's not what you wanted to hear. Of course, I will be recording my next Fallout playthrough, so you feel free to join me on that. And of course, there will be mods involved in that playthrough. If I do a Fallout 3 playthrough, I'll probably make some videos on how to mod the game, because I will be using a lot of mods for Fallout 3. But you are more than welcome to join me for any of my videos, as always. If you liked this video, please click the like button. I do appreciate that. And I look forward to seeing you guys next time. And until then, have fun.